Plants such as these strawberry plants can be affected by the severe weather. As you can see, this plant has suffered from drowning and the leaves are turning brown. But in this plant, it's had a healthy amount of water and the leaves are bright green. An estimated 34 billion barrels of crude oil is used each year, and eventually the Earth's supply will run out, which is why labs like these will become a thing of the future. In South Carolina, nearly 100 children are missing, many of which were just taking simple walks in the park or just meeting trusted adults online. But in the case of Sanaa Umenhotep, she just wanted to take pictures by the swings with her sister. With these lower interest rates, that could save your money from going down the drain. The Save Women's Sports bill has been a controversial topic across the United States, but now lawmakers in South Carolina are trying to pass the Save Women's Sports bill as a way to protect sports at the collegiate level. Since swimmer Leah Thomas gained national attention for winning an NCAA title as a trans woman, the NCAA has changed its policy to support people who identify as transgender by only allowing states in support of transgender athletes to host championships in their state, since it has sparked the attention of lawmakers like Ashley Trantham.
It's personal for me. Not only am I a biological female, but I have a daughter that has played sports, and I see the impact not only that a bill like this would have had on her or could have had if it wasn't in place, and I also was able to see some of her teammates take this opportunity to continue to play that sport and go on to a collegiate level. And for them, it was life-changing.
But Trantham isn't the only one. South Carolina Representative Bruce Bannister says it's quite simple to him.
Personally, I have 4 sons and 4 daughters, and so personally, I don't feel it'd be fair to make my daughters compete against my sons in any sport.
On the other side of the debate, lawmaker Dr. Thigpen says he thinks South Carolina is simply making problems where there aren't any.
I also believe the reason why I'm against this is I believe that this is really a non-issue. It's a manufactured problem. We have no incidences or high prevalence of this being a concern in our high school sport.
Molly Spearman, South Carolina Education Superintendent, who is also opposed to the bill, has said South Carolina can handle these rare cases on an individual level because of how rare they are. In South Carolina, we've had 4 cases where athletes have filed to play with other athletes that aren't a match to their biological gender. But these were cases where the sports were not available to the biological gender and were specific to women wanting to play with men. For people opposed to the bill like Melissa Moore, member of WREN, the Women's Rights and Empowerment Network, says they believe this is just another attempt at an attack on marginalized people.
Helps no one and harms transgender children in South Carolina. The South Carolina High School League already has a process in place to allow transgender students to play on teams that align with their gender identities while also ensuring fair play for everyone. So this is just an attack on already marginalized people.
As the Save Women's Sports bill has been deemed high priority in the State House, we should look for a decision in the next couple of days. For Carolina News, I'm Marsharia Adams.
Anytime a brother or sister in our community is shot and killed by the very people who are supposed to protect and serve them, we should make sure that the greatest scrutiny is given to that person who we have given the authority to use deadly force, because we don't want them to take that power lightly.
Police using deadly force is just one of the issues Benjamin Crump discussed at the celebration of the 50th anniversary of the African American Studies program at U of SC. Crump is a renowned attorney known for his work on high-profile shootings of Black men and women, such as Trayvon Martin, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd. He has also dedicated his life to civil rights activism. Though Crump is not familiar with the recent uproar surrounding the shooting of Irving Moore Charlie, a Black man with mental illness, who was shot at the hands of a Richland County deputy.
Ground now! Don't hit my son, man. Get on the ground! Drop the weapon!
Crump believes everyone deserves a fight for justice.
Because if we allow them to kill this brother unjustly, then how many more will they kill?
Crump also spoke about racial disparities in the criminal justice system.
It is a miscarriage of justice from go if we allow police officers to shoot first and ask questions later when it's black people, but when it's white people, even if they have been confirmed as mass murderers like Dylan Roof, to not do the same with them, then it's unequal.
Crump's conversation visited various topics such as racial injustice and how we can advance as a black community. But he ended with a message for the students.
Come together and try to be strategic and, most importantly, organized.
For Carolina News, I'm Marsharia Adams. Today at Blythewood High School, students opened their new biodiesel lab to the public for National Biodiesel Day. This student-run lab can transform cooking oil into diesel. Students like Aiden Stevens says she treats this opportunity like it's her job.
I come in every day and I treat this like it's my job, honestly, because that's what it feels like. That's the environment that I have every single day when I walk in. We make biodiesel here. We also run a lot of quality control tests. Everything happens in this lab in the trailer. And we do a lot of stuff just like industry standard.
Io Joe, co-founder of Green Energy Biofuels, says that his vision started 14 years ago with his Bio for EDU education program. Since then, they've donated to the cause at high schools like Blythewood.
Here at Blythewood High School, we actually provided to them a biodiesel processor that they could use cooking oil from the school and cooking oil collected from some of the local businesses in order to make biodiesel in the classrooms.
West, an estimated 34 billion barrels of crude oil is used each year, and eventually the Earth's supply will run out, which is why labs like these become a thing of the future.
Will Epps, teacher of the chemistry course, said he was thinking of the future of industry and his students.
Me going into education, I knew that there's something that we've got to do at high school to be able to train kids, to be able to fill this position in the workforce.
Creating biodiesel not only provides job opportunities and more biodiesel, but it also can help South Carolina as a state because we have a zero ability to create fuel. In the words of student Croft Norris,
It's amazing.
For Carolina News, I'm Marsharia Adams. Welcome back to Carolina News. It's time for sports. This weekend, Super Bowl 56 kicked off at the SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, where the Los Angeles Rams went up against the Cincinnati Bengals. Despite the Rams taking the lead in the first quarter, and the second and third quarter, it was looking like the Bengals could make a comeback. But the Rams took the lead in the last minute and a half to take the win, beating the Bengals 23-20. Which isn't the only victory for the Rams. Cooper Kupp, wide receiver for the Rams, became the 8th wide receiver to be named MVP, and the first since 2019. Kupp says he's had a vision for victory, and he knew his team would win.
I don't know what it was. There's just this vision that God revealed to me that we were going to come back. We were going to be a part of a Super Bowl. We were going to win it. And somehow, I was going to walk off the field as the MVP of the game.
Kupp's vision certainly came true, making this the first Super Bowl the Rams have won since 2000. So congrats to them. Speaking of victories, the USC women's basketball team took the win over Georgia 72-54 on Sunday. Aaliyah Boston scored an overwhelming 18 points and had 12 rebounds. Following their win, South Carolina now has 11 consecutive wins, and despite not having their top two forwards, Leticia Amir and Camila Cardosa, the rest of the team stepped up to fill their spots. Freshman Sanaya Fegan definitely did, scoring 5 points and 2 steals, making this her best game of the season. The women's team is set to play Clemson on Thursday at 7 p.m. at the Colonial Life Arena. Now, I don't know about you, but I've got sunshine on my cloudy days, and I'm going to tell you what's going to make you feel this way: good weather. It's going to be Sunday on the Day of Love with a high of 51 and a low of 30, and there's going to be light winds. So if you're looking to take your sweetheart out on Monday for Valentine's Day, the weather's going to be okay. You might want to grab a jacket on your way to the restaurant, to the movies, or wherever you decide to go. Now with that Women's Basketball National Championship Parade on Wednesday, the high is going to be 84 on Wednesday and the low is going to be 63. Now I know the parade starts at 6:30, so you might want to grab a jacket or sweater if you're going to be outside, just to make sure that you're comfortable when you're celebrating.
This morning at the South Carolina State House, the 10-year debate on the decriminalization of marijuana continues. NORML is a nonprofit organization that supports the removal of all criminal penalties for private possession and responsible use of marijuana. During the press conference, speakers spoke about the main issues pertaining to their advocacy. NORML Representative Vaughn Postema says there's been an overwhelming amount of arrests due to marijuana, most of which are African American.
There's been stats that show that even with decriminalization, black people are arrested still more than white people.
According to the FBI's crime data from 2019 to 2020, 62% of marijuana possession arrests were black or African American, while 37% of marijuana possession arrests were white. And with South Carolina being the second highest in arrest rates for marijuana possession, NORML is calling for change. Under NORML's Patients Are Not Criminals campaign, they aim to emphasize the issues of medical marijuana among veterans. Joe Cunningham, candidate for governor, spoke about how veterans are coming home and need treatment.
We have veterans who are coming back from service who need help, who need treatment with their PTSD, and they can't get medical marijuana, but opioids are being pushed into their hands.
And with 13% of the veteran population having an opioid use disorder, a decision on the legislature is highly anticipated from both sides of the debate. Columbia Water has been experiencing some difficulty for quite some time, from boiled water advisories to sewer leaks and a shortage of staff. But now things could possibly start to get better. The Columbia City Council is considering consolidating all of Columbia Water bonds into one. $335 million is the total amount of debt Columbia Water and Sewer currently has. But according to City Councilman Howard Duvall, the refinancing could be a big help to everyone.
If we can consolidate and save money, it will be a reduction in one of the elements used to calculate the rate that you pay for water and sewer. It will certainly reduce the pressure on rate increases if we can lower the amount of money you're paying on the debt for the system.
With these lower interest rates, that could save your money from going down the drain.
That could mean savings on past bonds, which would create funds for new improvements, like improving sewer systems and new water lines. Resident of Columbia, Tempe Brown, says that with all the issues with high rates, she's happy to see some change.
Like I said, it's good to know that the residents are finally having something done, getting something done for themselves.
If the bonds are approved by the City Council, residents could see lower monthly rates as soon as next year. For Carolina Insider, I'm Marsharia Adams.